Welcome to Networks Professionals.
Hey everyone, let's dive right into this explainer. If you've been keeping an eye on the world of AI and data science lately, you already know the demand for skilled professionals is absolutely skyrocketing. But honestly, with so many courses and boot camps flooding the internet, it can be incredibly tough to figure out which credentials actually mean something to top-tier employers. Well, today, we're cutting through the noise. We're going to break down the SAS Certified AI and Machine Learning Professional Credential. We'll look at exactly what it is, why massive enterprise companies value it so much, and how you can go from total beginner to a certified pro, pulling in a seriously impressive salary.
But wait, before we get too deep into the weeds, we definitely need to address the elephant in the room. When most people hear enterprise AI or massive cloud deployments, their brains instantly jump to the big tech giants, right? So a really common question beginners ask when looking at this path is, wait, is this a Microsoft certification or is this some kind of Google thing? And you know what? It's a totally valid question given how much those names dominate the space.
Okay, so to clear things up, the SAS Institute itself is actually the organization that develops and issues this credential. They are one of the world's absolute powerhouses when it comes to analytics platforms. But, and this is a big but, they do not exist in a vacuum. Organizations using massive cloud platforms like Microsoft Azure, for example, are constantly integrating their AI solutions directly with SAS platforms. So while Microsoft isn't handing you the actual certificate, the skills you're going to learn here are going to be interacting seamlessly with those big cloud environments out there in the real world.
Here's a quick look at our roadmap for today's explainer. We're covering what the certification is, exactly what you'll learn, the path and cost to get there, a 5-phase roadmap to follow, and finally, those career prospects and salaries.
All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, the SAS AI certification itself. Let's unpack what this actually is.
The absolute biggest takeaway here is practical application. There's a world of difference between being able to explain how a neural network works on a whiteboard and actually deploying one to solve a multi-million-dollar business problem. This advanced credential proves to employers that you can build real, practical applications. It validates that you can use both proprietary SAS technologies and everyday open-source tools to execute things like machine learning, computer vision, and forecasting in a live, high-stakes business environment.
And this perfectly illustrates exactly why that matters. Think about heavy hitters like banking, healthcare, pharmaceuticals, or government. What do they all have in common? They literally cannot afford to make mistakes. They operate in highly regulated environments where predictive models have to be absolutely secure, heavily governed, and 100% explainable to auditors. That is exactly where SAS absolutely dominates. Having this certification on your resume tells these massive industries that you actually know how to handle their incredibly sensitive data safely.
Moving right along to Section 2, what you'll actually learn. We're going to break this down into 4 key pillars. To make this massive curriculum a bit easier to swallow, think of it as 4 distinct pillars you're going to master. First up is machine learning. This is where you get deep into things like feature engineering, random forests, and neural networks. Pillar 2 is natural language processing, or NLP. You'll literally be teaching machines to understand human text through sentiment analysis and language models. The third pillar? Computer vision. You're going to build convolutional neural networks, or CNNs, to perform image classification and object detection. Finally, Pillar 4 is forecasting and optimization, using mathematical optimization and time series analysis to predict actual business demand. Honestly, it's an incredibly comprehensive full-stack AI education.
All right, let's hit Section 3. Let's talk about the certification path itself and the financial investment you're looking at. So you don't just take one giant test and call it a day. To earn that coveted professional level badge, you actually have to conquer 3 distinct specialist exams. You can take them at a Pearson VUE testing center or just do them via online proctoring. Each one is a grueling 90 minutes. For instance, the machine learning exam alone is going to throw 50 to 55 complex questions at you in that tight hour-and-a-half window. You'll need a passing score of roughly 62 to 70% depending on the exact version you take. It's rigorous, no doubt about it, but frankly, that is exactly why employers respect it so much. So that brings your total upfront investment to around $540. Each exam runs about $180. Now, I know that's a serious chunk of change, but definitely keep your eyes peeled for student discounts if you're eligible. And honestly, when we get to the salary breakdown in just a minute, you're going to see why $540 is basically a drop in the bucket compared to the insane return on investment this credential offers. Jumping into Section 4, the 5-phase roadmap. If you are starting from zero, this is your actionable blueprint. Make no mistake, this isn't an overnight thing.
It's a solid 6+ month progressive journey. Phase 1 is your first month or two, and it's all about the raw basics: statistics, Python, SQL. You simply can't build AI if you don't understand the underlying math, right? Then, Phase 2 is 2 to 3 months of practicing machine learning using open-source tools like scikit-learn. It's only after that, in Phase 3, that you actually step into the SAS VIA environment. By the time you finally reach Phases 4 and 5, tackling complex deep learning and demand forecasting, you will have built a rock-solid foundation to hold all that advanced knowledge up.
Finally, Section 5, the payoff. Let's talk about career prospects and those massive salaries.
Now this is the exciting part. The earning potential globally is just incredible. The demand for predictive analytics and MLOps right now is translating to huge compensation packages. Even if you're just starting out as a junior data scientist, you can expect somewhere between $60,000 and $90,000 a year. But as you validate your skills and transition into a machine learning engineer role, that ceiling jumps to around $150,000. And for senior data scientists who master that sweet spot between SAS analytics and enterprise strategy, you are looking at salaries well over $220,000 a year. That's life-changing money.
But hey, time for a quick reality check, just to keep our expectations grounded. If you jump on a job board right now and type in Python AI, you are absolutely going to see more raw job listings than if you type in SAS AI. That's just a fact. Python rules the sheer volume of jobs. But volume isn't everything. Having SAS on your resume specifically unlocks those highly specialized, incredibly high-paying enterprise jobs. These are roles heavily insulated from market volatility because they are in sectors where strict governance and compliance are literally non-negotiable.
And that brings us to this golden rule right here. Learning SAS isn't about replacing Python. Not at all. It's about stacking it with Python, SQL, and cloud platforms like AWS or Azure. The modern data scientist, the one recruiters are practically fighting over, doesn't just know one tool. They combine the rapid prototyping of Python with the rock-solid enterprise-grade deployment and governance of SAS VIA, all running on the modern cloud. That specific combination, it makes you an absolute Swiss Army knife in the analytics world. So the roadmap is laid out, and those enterprise salaries are practically waiting for you. Yes, the exams are brutal, but the blueprint to beat them is literally right here in front of you. The big question is, will you be just another developer who only knows Python, or are you going to combine SAS, Python, and the cloud to become a completely unstoppable, highly paid AI professional? What's your next move going to be?
Thanks for watching.